Go and open your book to page 704. Today's lesson is on properties of determinants. So you already learned how to figure out the determinants. But over here, we're going to go over certain properties that will help you to get determinants a little bit quicker. So this is almost like a shortcut. So if you look at the property 1, so over here, the property 1. So property 1 says if you have a row or a column is all 0, then the answer would be 0. Because if you expansion by minor, like this one over here, you're going to get 0 times the minor, minus 0 times the minor, plus 0 times the minor. Or if you're all 0 in the beginning, everything is going to be 0, right? So if you have one row or one column is all zeros, then the answer would be 0. Okay, so some good thing to remember. The property 2 is if you know the answer to one of the determinants, like for example, like this determinant, right? The answer is -5. Then if that's the case, if you switch 2 rows or two columns or 2 rows, the answer will become opposite. Okay? So if you switch, in this case, they switch the 2 columns, then the answer would be opposite. Okay? So again, in determinants, if you switch 2 rows or 2 columns, the answer will become opposite. So so good to remember that. Now property 3, if you have 2 rows or 2 columns, they're identical. Like this one, see over here? This one you got 2 rows are identical. If that's the case, the answer would be also 0. Okay, your determinant will be 0. Okay, property 5. Property 5 is like the elimination method in algebra. So you can add, so you can multiply any row and add onto the other row, and the answer will not affect the determinant. Or you can have it like this one. You can do it by column. So what it means over here is that you multiply the second column by 2, and you add it onto the first column, and it becomes this, and the answer will not change. So just like elimination method. So what they did is they used these 2 equations together. They eliminate this number and this number, so you end up with 0 and 0. Okay, just like elimination method, right? You want to eliminate like x or the y or the z, right? So it's the same idea. Okay, remember elimination method, you make one of the variable opposite and you add, right? But how you gonna make it opposite? Well, you have to multiply by a number, right? And you add onto it, right? So it's exactly that's what that is. Okay, so that's what they're doing. They're using elimination method. Okay, again, that's what that is. So they eliminate this and this, and with only the 6 left. So again, this is what they're doing, the elimination method. Okay, and again, when you do that, the answer stay the same. Okay. Okay, so now if you look at some of the examples. One more thing is when you factor out the determinants, you factor out 1 row or 1 column at a time. Okay. Let's go over some examples. So if you go to example, let's go to page 706, and if you go to like number 4, so you got 4, 12, 18, 3, 9, 13, and you got 2, 6, 28. Okay, now for determinants, you only can factor out 1 row at a time or 1 column at a time. For matrix, you have to factor out everything, all the numbers at one time. Okay, so make sure you know the difference. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a 3 from the second column. So I factor out a 3 from the second column. So factor out a 3, it becomes 4, 3, 2, 18, 13, 28. So based on the property we learned, when you have 2 columns identical, the answer will equal to what? 0, right? So that way you don't have to waste time doing all that. Again, that's the purpose of all these properties. Okay. Now if you look at number 5. Number 5, you have 16, -2, -4, 8, 9, -7. You have 16, -2, -4, Okay, and the answer would be, if you notice the first row and the third row are identical, that means the answer will equal to 0, right? So you don't even have to waste time doing any of these things. Okay. Now, if you go to number 3, you got 3, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out the 3 from the first row. I'm going to factor out the 3 from the second row, and I'm going to factor out the 3 from the third row. So this becomes 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay? So again, I factor out the 3 from the first row, factor out this 3 from the second row, factor out the 3 from the third row. Remember, for determinants, you only factor one row at a time or one column at a time. Okay? For matrix, you have to factor out every single number or every entry, every element at the same time. Okay? Now, this will equal to, now this is identity matrix. Identity matrix is what? 1, right? So this is equal to 1. Okay? So again, this is identity matrix. This is equal to 1. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 1 give you 27. Okay? So again, if you know some of these tricks, it's very simple. So if you look at number 11, so number 11, you're going to factor out 6 from each row or each column, right? And the answer would be 6 to the 4th power, and then you multiply it, and that's it. Okay? Now, sometimes some cases you don't have that choice, but you still can factor out to make it a little bit easier to evaluate. So, like page 706, like number 7, you have 50, 5, 3, 25, 0, 1. You have 75, 2, 3. So notice you got really high number over here. So what you want to do is you want to factor out 25 from here. So factor out 25. So you got 2, 1, 3, 5, 0, 2, 3, 1, 3. Then from here you can go and do the the diagonals, or you can do the expansion by minor. So I'm probably going to do expansion by minor on this one here. Okay? So this is going to be equal to 25 times this big things over here. Okay? So first I'm going to do the expansion by minor on the 1. Now remember, this is negative, right? So it'd be negative 1 times 5, 3, 2, 3, right? And the next one would be 0. So it'd be plus 0 times whatever, then you don't care, right? So minus 1 times the minor of 2, 5, 3, 2. Okay? So now we can ready to evaluate. So this is equal to 25 times negative 1 times, so this would be 15 minus 6. Okay? Minus 1 times 4 minus 15. Okay? So this will equal to 25 times, okay, so this would be 9, so it would be negative 9, and this is negative 11, so plus 11. So this will give you 2 times 25 will give you 50. Okay, and that's it. So again, you can factor out the number to make it a little bit easier to evaluate. Okay.